Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome. I'm Tremaine Wright, Chair of the Cannabis Control Board, and it's great to be here with all of you. Recognizing that we have a majority of the board members present, I'm pleased to call to order another meeting of the Cannabis Control Board and to welcome all of you who are participating in person or via real live stream. As always, this meeting will be recorded, and the transcript, along with any additional information, will be available on to the public on the Office of Cannabis Management's website, cannabis.ny.gov. Today's agenda is going to include a welcome, some brief remarks by myself, a review and approval of the meeting minutes from the Cannabis Control Board meeting that was held on November 21st, consideration of a board member disclosure resolution, consideration of conditional adult use cultivator licenses, as well as processor licenses, a report from our Executive Director, Chris Alexander, and then we'll move on to the public comment portion of the meeting, at which time we'll hear from individuals who have joined us here in person today. And then the board will hold an executive session. We will thereafter, we'll formally adjourn. So, with today's meeting, we will be rounding out our first full year of operations, and what a year this has been, with contributions from each member of our team at OCM, our sister agencies, the legislature, the governor and her staff, as well as the New York State community members that have participated in our conversations, meetings, and events. We have achieved a lot. We have boldly stepped forward with a regulatory structure that differs from our sister states. We have implemented programming that challenges us to meet the goals of the MRTA in innovative ways. And since March, we have steadily advanced the Seeding Opportunity Initiative. Seeding Opportunity has allowed us to start the New York cannabis industry with family farms and local hemp processors. And at our last board meeting, we started licensing our conditional adult use retail dispensaries. And so this year, New York activated the initial cannabis supply chain from seed to sale. So acknowledging all of that, we still have a lot more work to do. And today we will be considering 3 conditional cultivators and 6 conditional processors for licensure. So now we're going to just move our agenda forward, and we're going to begin with the review and approval of our meeting minutes from the November 21st Cannabis Control Board meeting. May I please have a motion to consider and approve the November 21st board meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion by any board members? However, before we take this here first action, I just want to acknowledge for the record, Mr. Perry is not joining us today, so he can be marked absent. Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. The motion to approve the November 21st board meeting minutes carries. Our next order of business is consideration of a resolution to allow board member Jessica Garcia to hold another public office and to serve on the New York State Agricultural Health and Safety Advisory Board. Pursuant to Article 2, Section 77 of the Cannabis law, the board can grant written permission to a board member to allow them to hold additional public office. May I please have a motion to consider amended resolution number 2021-01D, resolution permitting Jessica Garcia to hold the public office of New York State Agriculture, Health, and Safety Advisory Board member, in addition to the public offices that were previously approved by the board.
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any remarks or comments? None? Therefore, I'll call for a vote. Ms. Metzger?
Aye.
Ms. Garcia? You shouldn't have to.
Abstain.
Mr. McDaniel?
Aye.
And I'm voting in the affirmative as well. So the motion to approve amended resolution number 2022-01D, resolution permitting Jessica Garcia to hold the public office of New York State Agriculture, Health, and Safety Advisory Board member, in addition to the public offices previously approved by the board, carries. Thank you. The next item before us is consideration of the proposed additional conditional cultivator licenses. Resolution number 2022-51. It's a resolution issuing certain conditional adult use cultivator licenses. I'm sorry, I feel like I missed something, but may I have a motion to consider this resolution before us? May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and before we begin the discussion on this resolution, are there any board members that plan to recuse from any discussion or vote on the matter? Hearing none. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I just have one question for the staff.
Yes.
On the cultivator side, are we going to continue to keep this open and rolling for perpetuity, or how are we looking at that? Thinking about that.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for the question, Board Member McDaniel. Yes, we've been working with the applicants for this license, and I've continued to work with them to make sure all proper documentation has been submitted. So yes, we'll keep it open while we close out that process.
Thank you very much.
Any additional comments or concerns? Okay. If hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Metzger?
Aye.
Mr. Garcia?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Ms. Garcia. Mr. McDaniels?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. And therefore, the motion to approve Resolution Number 2022-51, a resolution issuing certain conditional adult use cultivator licenses, carries. I think that's on the slide behind us. Our next order of business, may I please have a motion to consider Resolution Number 2022-52, a resolution issuing certain adult use conditional processor licenses.
I'll make that motion.
Yes, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any recusals? Hearing none. Any discussion? Therefore, I'll call the vote. Ms. Metzger?
Aye.
Ms. Garcia?
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. And therefore, the motion to approve Resolution Number 2022-52, a consideration of adult use conditional processor licenses, passes. And that's also on the slide behind us as well. And now I'll ask our Executive Director, Chris Alexander, for his report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for joining us here today and for joining us virtually. I just wanted to be sure that the public is made aware that the proposed adult use regulations that were approved during our last board meeting have now officially been posted in the state register, and we are awaiting eagerly your comments and your input. You know, I've spoken previously at past board meetings about how much we appreciate the input and feedback from the public and how much it improves and informs the work that we're doing. So really encouraging folks to take the step, go on to the OCM website and submit some comments on those regulations. The only way to do this right is to make sure that we're hearing from the public, so please review them and share your thoughts. As we've been discussing over the last year, we've been working with law enforcement partners across the state to stop illicit cannabis sales at storefronts and trucks that we've seen pop up throughout the state. Last week, I joined Mayor Adams in New York City to announce the results of an initial joint enforcement effort we undertook with the New York City Sheriff's Department, where we seized more than $4 million worth of illicit cannabis product from 53 different locations across the city. We've taken similar actions in setting up similar joint operations with other municipalities across the state. Really pleased with the progress we've been able to make in New York City, and we'll continue to work with our law enforcement partners across the state to continue to expand that work. We've made clear, and will continue to do so, that these stores represent a threat to public health by selling untested product, and they're undermining our ability to build the equitable industry our cannabis law and you, New Yorkers who helped pass it, envisioned. As part of that effort, the governor announced last week a dispensary verification tool. As the legal adult use market opens, consumers will have the opportunity to identify regulated and licensed stores and purchase tested safer products from those stores. As you can see on the slide, it's a sample of what that tool will look like. Consumers will be able to scan that barcode and confirm that the operation is licensed and is selling products that have been tested. A similar tool will be made available for delivery websites as we get those up and running. This tool, combined with the universal symbol that will be displayed on all cannabis product labels, will help cannabis consumers know when they're buying regulated products from a licensed store. We're also really excited to be launching a parallel public education campaign called Why Buy Legal New York that will also help inform New Yorkers and to transition them into supporting the regulated market that we are building. Before I get to our next announcement, I wanted to note quickly that we are extending the window for applying for a laboratory testing permit from December 31st to March 31st. We are encouraging and continue to encourage the interested laboratories to reach out to our lab unit if interested in learning more about this opportunity. The permit application is available on our website, and we want to be sure we're continuing to build out our testing capacity, as that is a cornerstone of the market that we're building. Now I have some very exciting news. As you know, early this month we released guidance for provisionally approved card licensees to jumpstart their sales with delivery. This is an exciting option that will make it possible for them to start generating capital, developing their brands, and serving consumers, and we look forward to their operations getting off the ground soon. Last week we also held a webinar with provisionally approved licensees with the Dormitory Authority to help them understand the next steps in this process. And I'm very excited to say that we've had the opportunity to check in with our licensees, and we can now announce the first legal adult use cannabis sale in the state of New York will take place on December 29th at a dispensary being opened by Housing Works, a nonprofit organization in New York City. This organization is the nation's largest minority-controlled HIV/AIDS service organization and one of the largest community-based HIV/AIDS service organizations. This nonprofit operates a range of direct and support services for people living with HIV and AIDS, the homeless, formerly incarcerated, and justice-involved individuals. It also operates a network of charitable retail storefronts. So we're really excited to be able to take this next step. They're going to take their expertise in the retail space and bring it to the start of the cannabis industry and continue to provide some necessary job training to those who've been impacted by the justice system. We could not be more proud to open the market than we are. We've set a course 9 months ago to execute the Seeding Opportunity Initiative with family farmers across New York, growing the first crop of adult use cannabis, and justice-involved individuals leading the way on the retail side. I'm incredibly proud of what this team has been able to do together, and I can't wait to join the celebration on the 29th when we have the first legal tested adult use cannabis sales in New York. And I'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for that Thank you for that update. The first sales in New York State is certainly going to be a big moment in our history. Everyone has been eagerly anticipating this, and I know it's something that we've been working towards for years across this state. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's something monumental that we will be achieving. However, before we go any further, I'd like for us to take a moment and pause. And we want to say thank you to Jen Metzger for all of her service here on our board. And we want to pause and say thank you because I don't know how many of you know, Jen has been a committed, dedicated member of this team. She has contributed greatly, and she has guided us and help to ensure that our environmental and our sustainability goals are being met and that we are really living up to the highest goals and that we're achieving the goals that are set across this state generally, but also understanding that equity also means that we're maintaining our environment and that we're doing it in a way that preserves the health of all New Yorkers. So today is Jen's last meeting where she will be serving as a member of the board. However, we hope it's not the last time we see you at a meeting. And because she's going to officially depart the board when she is sworn into her new office as the county executive for Ulster County. She was just elected. again, thank you, Jen, for all of your hard work, your support, and also your friendship. We're going to miss you. However, we are all cheering you on and celebrating as you begin this new chapter of life. So thank you again, and I'd like to just offer the opportunity for any other board members and staff that wanted to speak.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to say, Jen, it's been a pleasure working with you. Not only has your commitment to sustainability and the mission been great, but also just your clarity of thought and the hard work you put in. I know you've read it all, you've commented on it all, you've done a lot of work as a board member, and I truly appreciate that. And so our loss is Ulster County's gain. And so good luck to you in your new assignment, and we look forward to opening some dispensaries in your county. So keep us posted.
Count on that.
And I just want to echo that and just say that I'm really going to miss you. I've learned so much from you. Your voice has been so important in this work, and congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. And, this is definitely bittersweet. My heart is full of gratitude to State Senator and Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins for giving me this extraordinary opportunity to serve, as well as to Chair Wright and my board colleagues, to Executive Director Chris Alexander, Chief Equity Officer Damian Fagan, and the truly amazing staff at OCM that I've had the incredible honor and pleasure to work with. Serving on this board has truly been some of the most rewarding and gratifying work I've done in my so far long life, helping to build a legal industry from the ground up that's centered on principles of equity, public health, and sustainability. The opportunity to be part of something like this does not come along really ever. And in my view, what we are doing is not just creating a new model for the cannabis industry, but for how we do economic development in this state and in this country. And we should be approaching all economic development in a way that supports and reinforces these values. So I want to thank my board colleagues and staff for your commitment and dedicated service to implementing the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act and the extraordinary vision of its sponsors, Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes and Senator Liz Krueger. I look forward to seeing all your continued progress in this important endeavor. I'm just down the road, the thruway a piece in Ulster County, which, by the way, has the lowest opt-out rate in the entire state, I would like to point out. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Everybody, we're going to return back to our the next item on our agenda at this time, and we're going to move into the public comment
Madam Chair?
period. I'm sorry, yes.
I'm sorry. I just had one question on the Executive Director's report and then also comment. You mentioned that the regulations are now posted December 14th. What's the closing date? Have we changed that, or we're going to continue that for 60 days?
It is 60 days. I don't know exactly the calendar date.
Is it from posting or from the time we
From
approve?
posting.
From posting.
Okay, that's what I was trying to clarify. The
And that was
second,
December 14th.
December 14th, and goes from posting, not from the
that's why I
passage.
just want to make sure that we knew what those dates were. That's great. Thank you very much. The second thing, Madam Chair, I would like to request that you talk to the AG's office about getting outside counsel to get bylaws for the board. You know, we've been at this quite some time. I know the staff's been very busy. General counsel left. But I think it's time that we go ahead and get some bylaws put together. And I think through the AG's office is appropriate given how our agency works. So I'd appreciate you doing that for us.
Will do. Thank you. Okay. And without any further ado, then we'll move into our public comment section. Again, I just want to remind everyone that we're not going to, this is the opportunity for the public to speak directly to the board, to address the board as well as the public. We are not answering questions. This is really about community being able to share their thoughts. Each member will be allotted 2 minutes, and we hope to hear from as many as 10 members of the community before we're ending the meeting, because we've allocated approximately 20 minutes to this section of the meeting. So if you are able to speak a little bit quicker, more people get to speak. So with that, we'll begin our comment period. And members of the public that wish to comment at today's meeting have already pre-registered. To ensure equal opportunity for individuals wishing to comment, we randomly drew names. And the first person or the first name that has been selected was Mayank Kapoor. Yes, and if someone from staff can please direct them of where you have a mic, you want them to come and speak over here? Okay, and then just so that we can expedite, Trevon Gilliard, you're going to be next. So if you can move over, you're going to speak after them. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, sorry. Okay, please, Mr. Kapoor.
Am I on? Okay.
Yes.
So the only comment I was going to make is really short and sweet. As licenses continue to come out and new options come out for people to apply for, I would just hope there's still ongoing resources for training and learning back-end systems, because I knew there was like a mock-up dispensary people could go to before and things like that, but I just hope those things continue because they're a great resource for learning things that people have no idea about. When it comes to cashless payments and, how to set up a dispensary or how to set up your delivery. Just there's a lot of regulations and a lot of rules and things ever changing. So I just hope that there's a continuous set of resources for those people ongoing, just like the mock-up dispensary that was in the Bronx and the place in the city. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gilliard. And she'll be followed by Charles Robinson, so you can please come on up. Yes. Ms. Gilliard.
Hello. So I was just wondering if you guys in the future would be able to list applicants in regions that are affected by the litigation, to at least let us know where we are on that list or how many points if it's based on a ranked system. I know that when you made the first round of awardees, they didn't fill the full amount for each region. So even though this person who is holding up the whole process, and I know you guys can't comment on it, but it just seems like there would still be a possibility for them to move forward and for us to at least know where we are, so we know what we're doing with a business plan. And then also, as far as the Daphne Fund, I saw that you guys had made an announcement that we wouldn't be restricted to those locations, that we would be able to use locations on our own. So hopefully you can clarify whether, if we are using our own locations, do we still have access to build out with that equity fund money, or do we no longer have access to that? I know it's not fully funded, but if you can just clarify with an update if that will be a possibility, again, to help us with our business plan, to know what we need to do as we are in limbo. Perfect. And then just one other thing, sorry. If we are awarded, and I know right now you're doing the delivery, are we allowed to deliver outside of our regions? So if you could just clarify on that in the future. Okay. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Robinson, and he'll be followed by, I'm sorry, that was Mark Robinson, and he'll be followed by Matthew Robinson.
Mark, I'm Charles Robinson.
Mark then Matthew.
Charles O'Bar Robinson, one of the notorious Robinsons. Legacy market, this has been my reality. This hasn't been my illusion. This has been my reality for the last 40 years. I just lost my father recently. He never even got the opportunity to see his 5 sons, who are the only people that go to federal prison for marijuana in the state of New York. 5 brothers. How did we go to federal prison? Strictly lies. They took violations, 30 violations, and looped it because it was politics. You know, this whole thing with marijuana controlled my whole physical journey so far. I'm 62 years old. And now to see it in real time where other people can benefit, but I got scrutinized. I don't even have a relationship with my own children right now because of the way this whole situation was treated. Now I put in a license in the beginning, hoping and understanding that I was deserving to be the first. I was deserving to be the first. Why? Because the life, the physical journey that I had to live through, the pain and suffering that my parents had to see from their kids, the politics that was involved in my whole physical journey, the big angry black man. I was painting a picture because of what y'all embracing in the current time, in the current moment. And now I did everything properly, didn't go try to open an illegal dispensary, hoping that I was going to get a dispensary. But no, nobody in my family. When you talk about the legacy market, you got to understand, there are certain people within the legacy market that understand human infrastructure. They already have things in play. They have a brand in play that could be beneficial to the state, that can be beneficial to taxpayers in current time. There's a family from Rochester. I never met them before in my life. But I know they didn't get theirs. If they would have got theirs, when you talk about the legacy market, please understand that it's to your benefit to get to right, and y'all know who we are. You know who we are in New York City, you know who we are in Long Island, you know who we are in Rochester, you know who we are in Buffalo. If you want to give us something, please give it to us and watch who benefits in the long run from this. I'm 62 years old. I just lost my father. I'm not doing what I'm doing, and I'm not here today, not for me, but for the generation after me, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And they shouldn't have to go through. They should have somebody within their community that they can look at, because seeing is believing during this journey of life. Seeing is believing. So if they're not seeing anybody from their village being allowed to actually do A, B, and C, you're just stealing, once again, just like when they legalized numbers and they took a valuable source of recycling income within inside poor communities. They didn't include the people that actually built out that market. We can't, this same thing can't happen with numbers becoming legal, alcohol becoming legal, now marijuana becoming legal.
Mr. Robinson, thank you. We appreciate you sharing that heartfelt sentiments with us, Mr. Robinson. And he'll be followed by Bazaar Royale.
Thank you, Madam President.
However,
Madam Chair.
I do need to remind you, please limit it to 2 minutes.
I got you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you, Madam Chair, thank you, Executive Director, and thank the board for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My topic would be, that I will be speaking on today, would be the Cannabis Compliance Training and Mentorship Program for the Justice Impacted Community. Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free Grow School, first generation growers. My name is Mark Robinson, the owner of Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free Grow School. I look to become the first black-owned free grow school in New York State. My mission is to highlight legacy growers' green thumb, making sure that they have a place in this cannabis space. Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free Grow School will empower medical patients who have a desire to grow their own cannabis but lacks the knowledge and skill set for a successful grow, with a legacy grower who will assist certified medical patients with their grow by being their designated caregiver. Having legacy growers become certified caregivers will not only position themselves to enter this regulated cannabis industry with their product lines, but also teach medical patients cannabis as a whole, rather is by seed or clone. Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free Grow School looks to educate people of color about recreational and medical benefits of cannabis. Education is at the forefront of everything our school does as part of a holistic approach to consumption. The Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free School is a mentorship program that will help build the first generation of equitable cannabis growers who will solidify their brands across the entire supply chain. Robinson's Cannabis Flowers Free Grow School aims to help medical cannabis patients grow their own cannabis for free. For more insight into this program and how to apply, call 404-642-0357.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you. Okay, and that is the last. We have two additional. Oh, I just called Bazaar Royal. Bazaar Royal, I'm sorry. I have Matthew Robinson just spoke.
Yep,
And the Bazaar Royal is next.
that was Mark, sorry, Matthew, and then Charles was one, too.
I don't have a Charles, sorry. So after Bazaar Royal, if I can have Charles.
Charles already spoke, so have Matthew go after Bazaar.
He already went. Matthew went, Mark went.
Charles went.
Oh, Charles,
Charles
sorry.
went, so then Matthew has to go after Bazaar.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's a number of Robinsons here, please forgive me. So I'm going Bazaar Royal, and then Matthew Robinson. I'm sorry, I had consolidated a couple of the Robinsons together. Sir, how are you?
How you doing? First of all, I'd like to say, address the board and say that I love the opportunity to be in the opportunity, even though the opportunity hasn't, presented itself yet. But I just came here. I'm a Brooklyn native for the people that are in the room. I just traveled here from Brooklyn because I feel it's important to be engaged in everything that's going on surrounding this topic and going on with it. I'm grateful. I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Matthew Robinson, sorry about that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First off, my name is Matthew Robinson. I'm an actual approved card licensee, and I'd like to thank the CCB, OCM, the governor, the mayor, New York State, and everyone involved that's been progressive in making this move forward. Things that we would like to see as card applicant licensees, just keep up on the guidance when it comes to deliveries, as far as where we can have our buildings, zoning issues. Keep up on guidance as far as training. What do you guys want to see? What does the community want to see from us as far as training, not just employees, but training people in the community? There's a lot of people that are uneasy about what's happening, and they need to have their minds settled and put at ease. So they need training. They need to be taught. You curb ignorance through knowledge, and that's what we need to do. And we need more details as far as advertising. It's I know you guys put stuff out there, and I've read everything a dozen times. Some things are still sort of uncertain as far as what we can advertise or market, or how we can advertise or market when it comes to social media. You guys speak a lot about radio and visuals and stuff like that. We just need a little more guidance when it comes to memes, stuff like that, posting videos, articles. Some articles that people would want to post contain cannabis products on it, and we're not supposed to put that out. So it makes it hard for us to put articles out that are important, like the article about about the dispensary that they checked and did the lab testing, and it came back with E. coli, and these are illicit dispensaries. So we want to put that out, but we can't because the picture. Also, we just like to know how to tap into the funds to build out our buildings, and where can we get these buildings exactly? Zoning issues again. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. I want to just say, because I don't want us to try to touch upon the responses that are necessary for the comments that were the host of comments that were just given, but I do want you to know that we are taking notes. We will be responding. Additional information will be coming from staff regarding the request for additional information, and we are taking notes so that we can consider your concerns, your advice, and directions as we continue to move forward, make revisions, and improve the program. So thank you very much. It is, although we're not engaging in the back and forth at this moment, it is not lost upon us. Thank you. I do always want to say, let's see. I want to take a moment, just remind you regarding our next meeting. because we're coming to the end of this, the public portion of this meeting, if we could please note that the time, location, and a live stream link will be shared on cannabis.ny.gov in advance of the next Cannabis Control Board meeting, as well a recording of today's meeting minutes, and a transcription will be posted as well. And before we formally adjourn today, the board will like to enter into an executive session. So I would like to make a motion that we enter into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters and specific litigation, which include Verasite New York 1 v. New York State, Hudson Health Extracts LLC v. Zucker, CC of New York v. Department of Health, New York Medical Growers LLC v. New York State Department of Health. May I please have a motion to enter into executive session? May I have a second? And we have a second. So now we will enter into executive session. We will ask if the room can please be cleared. And once we return, we will come back to officially adjourn the meeting. But thank you all for your participation today. It is always very important that you come out and be a part of it. Thanks.